Hello, welcome back. If you're here from the last video, um, this knife. Another thing I think that maybe because it's funny. A lot of times this happens to me. I buy a new knife and then I just leave it in the box for a while. It's also like it's too nice. This had the cling film wrapper on it until yesterday. It's like, oh, at this point, it's like brand new. You could still move it on, and it would be like as new. Da, 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 which I never do. I buy, never sell. I mean, so um, finally got this thing out and realized, oh, they've actually done a pretty good solution for one of my major bugbears. It really is my major bugbear with Kydex sheaths. Is that they often come? It's just this. With possibly or likely, more than likely, some kind of ulti-clip-like thing, and that puts this right up on your belt, where it's gonna prang you. It's just it's unworkable for me like that. I can practically never. The only time I would contemplate wearing a knife like that high is maybe in the summertime if I'm not even wearing a shirt. I'm wearing some jeans shorts or something. Then it would make sense. But otherwise, I like it, more like how this sits. Or later it occurred to me, well, if I'm actually going to go out with my jacket on and stuff, this is still too high. I need a dangler. And so this is what I figured out just now, is a 20-inch piece of paracord and my suspenders. And it's the same piece of 20-inch paracord as I used to make this lanyard here, because with suspenders, I had an issue where I needed to wear some suspenders with trousers that didn't have the buttons. So I ended up cutting 6 lengths, 20-inch lengths of paracord in order to do that. And then I took them off, the suspenders, and I had them just hung on a hook on the wall here. And within a matter of days, they all found a home. So it's apparently a 20-inch length of paracord is a pretty handy length just to have pre-cut with the ends singed. And all of a sudden, wow, the broom, a lanyard, this knife, a lanyard, this Dangler solution, right? Which works really well off the suspenders here instead of off the belt. So, it's really stable. It doesn't want to do that thick, twisty around thing very much. It's just going to ride like that. And so the knife, and just now I put this loop on there as well, and that seals the deal. This I cannot really demonstrate right now. Oh man, I just flipped my camera around, didn't I? I don't think that's going to make a difference for you. So yeah, I can't demonstrate that, but it's not really necessary. But it is nice, instead of grabbing it like this, if you're going to grip with the left hand, your hand will just slide down and naturally find its way into this loop. And it has time to do that. In general, it's going to have time while I'm putting my other hand through the lanyard anyway, right? Yeah, okay, that would help actually. Oh, this thing twists around as well. That's kind of funny. Okay, it does help to have the second hand, but I think if I just push this instead, right? So I think what attracted me to this knife was the fact that I know that Work Tough Gear makes really good knives. This is K329 steel, which is kind of like a CPM 3V equivalent, like a budget 3V, I guess, is what I just read. With this saber grind, I like the look of that. High saber for a bushcraft. I'm getting more into this kind of bag as opposed to the Scandi Vex. Our bevels are working their way back up again. And this is done very interestingly. It's very nice and thick and chunky, robust behind the edge. Well, I mean, it's not that thick, but maybe 40 thousandths or something. But it is wickedly sharp. And something that I wasn't so keen on, that if it was like you could have the option, I wouldn't have gone for this thing here. And I'm still kind of in two minds about it. However, I'm starting to see the logic of it. See, for a thumb ramp, for me, if I'm going to extend my thumb and it fit in there, I'm pretty much down to a 2-finger grip, right? Which tells me, okay, well, this is for a guy with smaller hands then, pretty much. You know? It is a pretty compact handle. However, this is not bad. That works quite well. There is a bit of a, you might want to round that off. I might want to, or even significantly, round it off. But it's okay. The spine is very sharp, and so that makes this a little, uncomfortable. But that's one thing. But now, if we're gonna change our grip to something like a chest pull, now you can lock the knife in like this, and that allows you to get a bit more sway back, a bit more rake on your blade while you're using it. And it's the same thing indeed in a hammer grip. Even with the lanyard, now the lanyard, now we have like a triangle. You see what I mean? The lanyard is gonna pull on my wrist here to stop the blade from pushing back any further. But this flap on my hand here sits in that, and it kind of allows the blade to be raked back for more, which I think can be very advantageous. Now I see people doing feather sticks like this as well. Me, I'm not big on feather sticks. I don't know. I just bust everything up small and burn it. Whatever it is, cardboard or wood or whatever, as a rule. But I have tried, feather sticking a little bit. I'm just too used to taking the shavings off, not trying to keep them on, like whittle spoons and things. Haven't used the knife a lot, but I've used it a little bit earlier today. And just processing some cherry firewood. Had a punky outer layer on it that's all soggy because it's raining today. So this, I think maybe the idea of this texturing here is not purely decorative, but it is in order to give you a spine. It gives the spine a kind of a serration on your sharpened spine. And I was trying scraping earlier. I didn't try scraping a ferro rod yet. Maybe I should just try that right now, even though it's dark. But I want to see, the ferro rod will show up. That's for sure. Ouch. Wow. Okay. I mean, I would guess that yes, that is for striking a ferro rod. That's why they did that, because that seemed to be more sparky than the Huntsman, which I used yesterday to actually light a fire with that thing. Just because I was outside, I wanted to light a fire, and I was roaming through my pockets and cursing at myself. I can't believe I came out here without a single lighter on me or flame source, except I had that ferro rod in my pocket, just taken to carrying it. I have another knife from Zeke Menacho design, from Work Tough Gear, designed by Zeke Menacho, which is the Little Evil, which I won from Scab at Choir Boys Outdoors in the sandwich cutting competition. Very proud of that. And I think they would be quite a nice pairing, actually, if you were out bushcrafting or what have you. You got the Little Evil can do kind of hatchet-like tasks, and this can do a lot of your other stuff. This hump here, this handle, I really like it. I like handles with a double hump. There are different ways that you can set that up, but basically what I'm observing, like Ken Onion does a lot of this kind of thing, is that this hump here is matched higher up by this one on the back kind of thing. And so then you have this indentation here, which allows these fingers to get a little further around the back than they would otherwise, right? If you didn't have that well there, then your fingers are flat onto the handle rather than being able to wrap around that extra bit. So this handle is great. I actually like this handle a lot more than the one on the Little Evil. The Little Evil handle is not an all-day working handle. It's more of like a fighting knife handle. You get really good grip on it because hotspots give good grip. So speaking of good grip on this thing, you've got this milling. And I'm not usually big on the G10, but this must be my favorite G10 handle, actually. Just about. Well, that or the slip joint I made is also has a G10 handle. So, but for a fixed blade, that is cool. You know, I really like the texturing and the look of it is pretty rad. The knife is a little handle heavy for me. I always want to see a tapered tang now because of that. Because, you know, this balance point, I would want that to be here where the index sits. But anyway, that's, you know, depending. And for chopping, for a lightweight chopper, hey, shout out to Connor Chops. I think he would like this knife. I think you'd like this one, Connor, if you're watching. For a little lightweight chopper. Little, what is this, 4-inch? Little 4-inch chopper. So yeah, I'm gonna be sporting this now on the belt and using it. And I'm instead of a larger knife, really, because a lot of the time when I go out, I would like to have something like the Huntsman or a Leoku or, you know, something kind of big and meaty and choppy. But I have to have it on my belt all day, you know, otherwise I'm going to end up out there without it, whatever it is. And so that is the thing, because I notice, even though I'm wearing the suspenders, you know, but having a bigger, heavier knife on your belt all day makes a difference, you know. And that is why something like this I might prefer and actually get more use out of it than something like the Reef F6, which is a really good knife. But I have some issues with the F6 as well. Anyway, mainly it's too handle heavy and it's meh styling and stuff. This thing's got pizzazz. It's my opinion. Thanks for watching.